Well, today I have the incredible honor of interviewing two of my favorite people in the world, Pastor Brendan Zastrow and Pastor Sarah Zastrow. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, we're
Thanks
excited
for
to be
having
here.
us.
You guys have been here since I was a little girl at this church. You guys are family, and we just love you guys so much. Pastor Brendan, what do you do here at Dream City?
Thanks, Aubrey. My role is the COO, so I handle all things business, accounting, finance, HR, IT, security, facilities,
The fun stuff.
the fun stuff, yes.
And now Dream City Christian School, tell us what you're involved with that.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. We're educating the future. We've got a great Christian school. We have conservative biblical values. It's over on our Glendale campus, right off of 75th Avenue, north of the 101, making a lot of positive, outcomes for the future generations.
It's very exciting what's happening there. And Pastor Sarah, what do you do?
So I'm the children's pastor.
And you're very good at it. We love you.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
So I oversee all of the children's ministry at all of our campuses.
Wow. Well, it's absolutely amazing what you do. And you're also leading one of our women's groups. We love our Dream City Moms group.
Yes.
So you guys are doing so much at Dream City. But just recently, you've gone through something with your daughter. And Zaylee is a precious gift to many of us and very involved here at Dream City. What is her story? What's her legacy that is left behind?
Yeah, so I'll start. Zaylee was just a bundle of joy. She was our fourth child, born in, 2008. Yes, mom always has to help.
Yeah.
She was kind of, I said she was a combination of all of us, right? Her three siblings, mom and dad. She was full of life and energy and just the competitor. She always wanted to master things and be the best. And once she'd master it, she'd be on to the next thing. Like one day she wanted to learn how to throw spiral football. And so she brought me the football every day, literally. And it was throw balls, throw balls. I got tendonitis in my shoulder and my arm, and I had to throw to her left-handed because
Oh my gosh.
she wanted to learn how to do it. And once she mastered it, she was on to, okay, now I'm going to do gymnastics and learn how to do flips and jumps and just very organized, energetic, really a remarkable girl.
And so, maybe from your perspective, Zaylee was so special. What about her was so special to you?
Yeah. Well, Zaylee was our surprise. We didn't plan on having 4 children. Our plan was to have 3 kiddos and we got pregnant with Zaylee, and so she was born here at this church. She was a part of everything, and but she was just such a blessing to our family.
Yeah, and I would say also she just had a gift of making, even though she was a competitor, she wanted you to succeed. Like she really wanted you to feel special. She would leave little notes in my lunchbox or leave a note on my dresser. Thanks, Dad. Thanks for earning money for us, and so we can buy groceries and have food, and just these gestures of kindness. She would just randomly leave you.
She is a special girl, and I remember Ash and I were her youth pastors for a bit, and she was one of our favorite students, still is our favorite student, and she's so special in everything she did, joyful, wanting to learn everything, wanting to do everything, wanting to preach, and that happened. But first of all, will you just dive into Zaylee? What happened with Zaylee?
Yeah, we were, I guess it started, Sarah was at the kids camp. She was teaching kids camp, and Zaylee, we thought she had some kind of virus. The doctors thought maybe she had mono, and so they gave her some antibiotics, and then we left for fine arts, which was in Orlando, and we actually drove there from Phoenix to Orlando, and we went to fine arts. As you said, Zaylee got a call to ministry while at Youth Fine Arts, and then we came back to Phoenix early August. She enrolled at Dream City Christian, was in school, and I think it was about 3 weeks into the school year, we got a call. Sarah had some blood work done at Phoenix Children's. We were in a staff meeting, and we got called out from the school, and they said, go pick up Zaylee and rush her down to Phoenix Children's Hospital. And there we learned that day that she had been diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia. It was biphenotypic acute leukemia.
Wow. I remember all throughout that time when we learned she's a fighter. She was a fighter, and you said that she was called to ministry.
Yes.
And what I love about Zaylee is she didn't let her circumstances get in the way of her call. She had a dream to do something here at Dream City, and she got to do it. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, Zaylee, she was very excited, very passionate. You know, even though she was going through this trial, you would never have known it. She was so positive and so worried about other people, not even worried about her own circumstances. But she got an opportunity to preach with Pastor Tommy on stage. And so she would spend time just writing out these sermons. And actually, Pastor Ash gave her the opportunity to speak first.
She was so good.
And she spoke in front of all the youth department. And we, of course, as parents, we were there to video her and record it. And Pastor Tommy got a chance to see that.
Yeah.
And invited her to speak on stage with him.
Yeah, he had, Pastor Tommy, and he talked to Pastor Luke and said, hey, what do you think if we had Zaylee come on and preach? We'll do they were having a series, and it was talking about basically when you're going through a tough circumstance, what are you doing with it?
Yeah.
And so yeah, she was probably the only 12-year-old that's
Could ever
preached with Tommy Barnett, and probably ever will.
That's right. And she's the only one who was going through something as hard as leukemia.
Yeah.
And you would have never known. She was such a fighter. Now, when Zaylee passed away, I'm sure that felt like the world was crashing down. What was the importance of having a church community with you guys during that season?
Yeah, it was really everything. You know, we made a decision from the beginning to let the church family in.
Yeah.
You know, we told everyone right away. We coveted people's prayers. We knew that it was a battle coming against our entire family, and that we wanted our church family to be able to pray with us. And in her first stint at Children's, you know, you guys would come and encourage her. You know, Pastor Adam, he would come and do worship songs, and we'd play games, and it was just remarkable. And I'd sit at Phoenix Children's, and I'd watch people coming into the hospital in the lobby just with no hope. And really having a community. And I'd often think, how could someone do this without having a faith, without knowing, where eternity is.
Right.
And, but this community, they just lifted us up and encouraged us. They brought us meals and, did things for us. I mean, we had someone rented a chef for us so that we didn't have to cook meals.
Oh my goodness.
We had, people wanted to come clean the house. And I mean, there was so much outpouring of love towards our family that we really couldn't contain or receive all the blessing. All the people that wanted to bless us, we couldn't. There was no way we were going to receive it all. And so we were kind of having to pick and choose, and we had some people helping us manage that because it was so incredible.
Yeah, it was really overwhelming, the response from the church, and just even afterwards, the response that we would hear from people that would come up to us, people we didn't even know, and say, you don't know me, but your daughter had an impact on our life.
Yeah.
And so it was, to hear those stories. And at Zaylee's service, we had cards there for people to write things to us and write things about Zaylee. And it was such a blessing for us to go back and read how she impacted so many lives.
And we need to have your son, Zach, to tell his story too. But we found how Zaylee and her legacy impacted people even after she went to heaven. And
Yes.
we have to have Zach on to talk about that sometime, because Zaylee had a legacy that just never ended.
Yes.
And one thing I remember about Zaylee, was when that 800-mile hike, we were doing Adventure Your Life campaign. Pastor Luke and Anna Lee were hiking 800 miles to raise money for the Short Creek Dream Center.
Yes.
Zaylee had a part of that. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so we were there, and we would she wanted to exercise because it's good for your immunity and white blood cells, and so we were always exercising, and so she decided she was going to run laps around Children's Hospital. And so we'd go out in the hallways, and we were videoing and sending encouraging little notes to Pastor Luke and
Yeah.
Anna Lee, and just saying, hey, we're rooting you guys on, and we're going to run laps for every mile. And the nurses, they're like, stop running.
Stop
so
running.
like we go past the nurses,
Don't
and
run
it was
in the
like
halls.
it was like slow walk, and as
Yeah.
soon as we get past them, she'd just take
Run.
off and start sprinting, and so
It was a game.
it was a game, and just made the most of everything. There was never a period where, she felt sorry for herself. There was never a period of woe is me, or
Yeah.
and it was just remarkable.
Special girl for sure.
Yeah.
So what would you say to people watching right now? Because there's people out there who are going through similar circumstances that you've been, especially with COVID-19, losing people. What would be your last word of overcoming pain and the need for a community?
Yeah, I think it's so key. I think it's so key to have a church community, to have that eternal perspective. This isn't the end. Zaylee is where we all want to go.
Yeah.
Taking those thoughts captive, recognizing that, because the enemy's going to whisper lies and tell you that, God took her. Well, she's where we all want to go,
Right.
right? She's finished her race. She's in eternal rest and peace and receiving her reward. And so when you take those thoughts captive and have that perspective, and have a community around you that can lift you up, because, it's hard. Not every day is a good day, right? And you are going to have those times where you need someone to give you a hand up and help you out and encourage you and say it's going to be all right. But having a church community, it's paramount, because, statistics, we know a lot of the stats because we're in ministry, but it's 90 or 95% of people that lose a child end up divorced.
Wow.
And, we knew that going in, that when the enemy brought this assault to our family, that we had to be dialed in so we didn't become a statistic.
I never even thought about that. I've heard that statistic, so that's another miracle. And see you guys thriving and together and doing ministry is so beautiful, in your family as well. Thank you guys so much for sharing your story. I know that it probably brings up a lot of past feelings, but we all know that she has finished the eternal race that we are all in. She is in the place we all want to be. I think that's the most encouraging part about this whole thing. Thank you so much for your courage in sharing the story and the example you're setting to people who have been through circumstances like your own.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Aubrey.
Well, there are so many people out there who have been through something similar to what Pastor Sarah and Brendan Zastrow have been through. Maybe you just lost someone recently due to COVID-19. Maybe you lost someone to cancer. I don't know. And maybe you feel alone in this season. You feel like there's no one there to support you, and you're in your darkest season. Well, we want to be a community, Dream City Church, that wraps our arms around you and supports you through your darkest times. You need a community. You heard it from them. It is essential to get that community surrounding you. So go to dreamcitychurch.us to find a church community near you.